Hello preschool families, this is Miss Gaby from Excel, and today we're going to be talking about oral language and vocabulary development. If you came to school and picked up a family event activity bag, you should have a bag that looks just like this, and inside of it you should find two tip sheets that look like this. One is for oral language and the other one is for vocabulary development. Now let's talk about things that you can do to help your child develop oral language. Oral language is the talking and listening part of communication. Reading and talking to your child every day is very important to help them develop their vocabulary. The more you read to your child, the larger their vocabulary development will be. And the reason why is because books give us a wonderful opportunity to talk to our children using words that they will not come up otherwise in our regular everyday conversation. So when we're reading, let's say for example, a book about animals, that will provide the opportunity for our children to learn vocabulary tied into the animals in the story. Vocabulary that might not come up in everyday conversation otherwise, unless we're in a place that is animal conducive, such as the zoo. Now, oral language development provides the foundation for later successful reading and writing, so it is extremely important. Children who have strong oral language skills often have strong reading skills as well. So there are many things that you can do to help your child develop these skills at home, but the most important are reading and talking to them. Have conversations with your children every single day. And I would say always strive for 5. When you strive for 5, that means that you're striving for 5 interactions in every conversation. Meaning that the 2 people in the conversation, that being you and your child, will take turns back and forward at least 5 times. Also, make sure that you give your children time to answer. Remember, our little ones are still developing their oral language and formulating ways to answer and take part in conversations. So sometimes we need to be a little bit patient. If we ask our child something, I would say wait 5. Wait 5 seconds and see if your child is able to answer whatever it is that you're asking them. Now, if by any chance they don't, they might still need a little bit more time, or they might not understand what you're trying to ask them. So I would say you can formulate your question or have your conversation in a different way, giving them another chance to interact with you. Use phrases such as, tell me about, tell me more, and then what? Why do you think? And what if? When you use these kind of phrases, it helps your child develop critical thinking and having to answer their question by formulating long answers instead of short yes or no answers. Now, there are many things that you can do with your child to help them develop oral language. You can sing songs and nursery rhymes together, for example. You can read, talk, and listen together. You can explain unfamiliar words to your child and use the new words every day in daily conversation. Make eye contact with your child when you're talking to them. Looking at each other's faces gives them confidence so that they can continue to talk to you. And ask questions when reading with your child. Talk about the different pictures in the book, the words, and what's happening in the story. This will help your child develop excellent oral language skills. Now, did you know that there are 3 ways to predict how successful your child's reading will be before entering kindergarten? The first one is letter and print knowledge, recognizing and naming the letters in the alphabet. Understanding how print works, meaning that your child understands that print goes from top to bottom, from left to right, and that there are spaces in between words. That is very important for them to develop successful reading. Phonological awareness is our second predictor for successful reading in elementary school. That your child understands that there is a specific sound sound that goes with each letter and that they recognize it is very important. And that they have the ability to recognize individual letter sounds in different places in the word, meaning that they're able to recognize each individual letter sound either in the beginning, middle, or end of the word. And final is oral language and vocabulary development, which is what we're talking about. Learning a lot of words is very important, and being interactive in conversations with others. That is really going to help your children. Having verbal memory of stories by reading the same story over and over would really help them develop a strong vocabulary. And also, it's very important that they build expressive vocabulary when they're talking to you. Think about this. The English language contains over 500,000 words, but yet we only use about 15,000 words in everyday speech, and television only uses about 7,000 words. It's very important that we talk with our children because otherwise they will not acquire a lot of vocabulary. The size of preschool vocabulary is highly predictive of reading success. By age 3, children have heard a range between 10 and 30 million words. Children who only hear about 10 million words are not acquiring words fast enough to sustain them as successful readers. So it's very important that we help our children acquire the most vocabulary possible. If you came to pick up an activity bag, there is a couple of things that I would like to talk to you about because there are some great resources there for you to help your child develop oral language at home. The first one is your book. The name of the book is All Are Welcome. It is a beautiful book that your children are really going to enjoy. And if you open your book, you will find in that first page this bookmark. This bookmark is fantastic before, during, and after reading this book with your child because it provides you some wonderful tips on things that you can do before, during, and after this reading with your kiddos. We have also included some words and phrases to learn because with every book, there will always be some new words or phrases that could be a little bit challenging for our kiddos. So it's great to have some easy definitions for our kiddos ahead of time for when we're reading with them. If you use these child-friendly definitions along with the pictures in the book, it'll be really easy for you to explain new words and terms to your child and for it to remain as part of their vocabulary, because when children understand words, it becomes part of their vocabulary. And then the next thing that we have is this really fun activity. I love it. It's called All About Me. And it is a fantastic opportunity to help your child develop oral language. If you see here, it gives them a chance for them to talk about themselves. They can draw a picture of themselves, or they can glue a picture of themselves there. They can write their name. They can draw or write something about their family. So it gives them an opportunity to talk with you and just interact and describe how they see themselves and their family. It also has a section for their favorite food and their favorite toy, and it'll be a really fun activity. When children describe themselves, describe their family and their interests, is a wonderful opportunity for them to think critically and for them to develop oral language. Thank you, families, for joining me in this talk about oral language and vocabulary development.